Tacoma residents and businesses pay taxes to the city for all services including fire suppression and life safety programs. Emergency medical services are funded separately by a voter-approved EMS levy. The City Council unanimously approved the EMS Levy Lid Lift to appear on the August 1st, 2023 ballot. Today, we have Tacoma Fire Chief Tori Green here on the show to share more on this topic. Chief Green, thanks for coming today on our show.
Thanks for having me.
So how is the emergency medical services funded here in Tacoma?
Yeah, so the fire department receives all of its funding from basically the general fund. The majority of the funding comes from the general fund, but emergency medical services, which is about 80% of what the fire department does, has a specific revenue source that's called the EMS levy. And so that money goes directly into the fire department's budget and is specifically allocated for any expenses related to emergency medical services. And that really encompasses the majority of our work because, like I said, not only is it 80% of what we do, but every firefighter is either an EMT or a paramedic. Mm-hmm. So every firefighter is an EMS responder, and so that's where effectively where the funding comes from.
Okay, so can you provide us, in saying that, can you provide us a little background on EMS Levy Lid Lift and what is that about?
Yeah, so the city of Tacoma voted back in 2002-ish, I think, to have a permanent EMS levy. So that means that we don't have to go back to the voters to continue to collect on the EMS levy, like many jurisdictions, which have to go back every about 6 years. But the levy, state law in about 2002, limited levy increases to 1% per year. So, although the levy's permanent, it can only increase a maximum of 1% per year. Now, it's based on property tax values, and property tax values over the last 10 years have averaged about 4.5% increase every year. And so that gap continues to develop, and we haven't been back to the voters. The last time we came to the voters for a levy lid lift was in 2006. So it's been 17 years that we've been capped at that 1% growth rate, and so going back to the voter, the levy lid lift is basically us going back to the voters and asking them, can we go back to the original approved collection rate of 50 cents per thousand? We're currently at 28 cents per thousand.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what kind of resources then would this bring for you?
Yeah, so that's really important. So one of the things, I mean, fundamentally, the reason we're going back to the voters is because we have been continuing to provide an increasing level of service with the same resources, right? A very fixed amount of resources. And so what this will mean is that we will be able to actually add first response units to our deployment, which means that when people call 911, it's more likely that the fire engine that's closest to them will be able to respond to them, and they will already be on another call, which is currently the case most of the time. When you call 911, because we're so busy, it's very likely that the fire engine that's closest to you is already serving somebody else, and so you get someone from further away, and time matters in all of our responses.
Absolutely. So what is the difference then between a single year and a multi-year levy lid lift?
Yeah, so in the past for us, and in most levies for jurisdictions even around us, when they go out to ask, when we've gone out and asked the public to vote for the EMS levy, it means that for that year that it's approved, we go to 50 cents per thousand. So the amount that we collect is based on 50 cents per thousand of assessed property value. Mm-hmm. But then every year after that 1% cap limits it to begin creating that gap. So effectively, the rate at which we collect begins to immediately drop after that first year. The multi-year levy what we're asking the voters is that we maintain a 50 cents per thousand collection rate. As property values go up, then we would go up. So if property values go up 3% next year, then the levy collection rate would go up 3% next year. We are limiting that. So under no circumstances are we allowed to collect more than 50 cents per thousand, no matter how high property values are. Okay. And we've also added a maximum growth rate of 6%. So if property values were to increase 7% next year, we would only collect 6% maximum. Yeah. So
awesome.
It's complicated, but
yes.
But basically what we're asking is that we don't immediately begin to decrease our collection rate after this year, that we are allowed for the next 6 years to kind of build up. This is really important because last time we asked was in 2006. We usually go back every 6 years, and that was when 6 years later was about when we had the housing crisis.
Yes.
And then we lost about 50 firefighters because of budgetary reasons. And when we finally regained that in about 2019, we had a pandemic.
Yes.
And so we are way behind in terms of where we should be in providing resources for the services we're being asked to provide. And so that 6-year multi-year revenue will allow us to begin to catch up.
Yes. Well, thank you, Chief, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share with our viewers more about the EMS Levy Lid Lift, and to be looking for that on the August 1st, 2023 ballot. And it's always a treat to have you on our show, Chief. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.